Episode 171, The Winter Solstice. Ever since Serena had left the old house, she had kept herself busy by being focused on her studies and work. She had become a shareholder in Henry Miller's software company. Henry had gotten better and better at doing business, and in just over a month, he had released a software called Joy 2.12. which immediately enjoyed a great number of downloads and users. Being a shareholder, Serena got a decent cut, and she was trying to understand bit by bit how the business worked. Since it was approaching winter, the days were colder, and she had to be bundled up. She checked the calendar and saw the date before she left home that morning. It was time for the winter solstice, a day for celebration with family. In many cultures, it implied a family reunion. She thought of her father Travis and began missing him. Travis was still in London and could not come back to spend the day with her. She knew the Robinsons believed in the celebration and had even gotten a call from the old house, inviting her to go back for the festival. It was pouring that day, making this winter solstice a wet one. Driving her newly purchased white sedan, Serena was trapped in traffic. It was past 2 p.m. It was pouring, and the car was stuck in the jam. Everyone was honking constantly, and her ears were ringing with that, disturbing her mind. Amidst this chaos, Serena's phone rang. The call was from the old house. She picked up. Hello? Are you almost here? Not yet. It's pouring, so the traffic is heavy. She glanced at the dark clouds. I see. Are you with Mr. Robinson? Captain Robinson said he wanted to have a specific kind of meat that Mr. Jake had once purchased. What meat was this? I have no idea. Mr. Robinson did not know its name either. It's pretty good, though. I'm sure Mr. Robinson knows about it. Can you call him and ask? Her making the phone call, after the last conversation they had had. Serena pursed her lips and said, Emma, would you call him? It's not really convenient for me. I've tried, but I couldn't reach him. I'm also in a mess right now. Captain Robinson is playing a game with Mr. Carson, and I need to clean up. Someone seemed to be calling out for Emma in the background. She quickly said, Coming! And then told Serena, Can you please do this favor for me? If not, I will call him later. I'm just worried that Captain Robinson might get impatient. All right, Serena replied. You go ahead, and I'll call him. Thanks so much. Remember to come back early. The entire family is here. Will do. When Serena hung up, her car hadn't moved an inch. It was still jam-packed. Looking through her contacts, she found that his number was deleted, but she did not even need to think before dialing the number. It was the number that she had remembered for 2 lifetimes. She punched it in on the screen and pressed the call button. The line was busy. The traffic eventually started to move. Serena started the car and called his assistant, Miranda Young, instead. Miranda quickly answered. Serena then learned that Miranda herself was at a family event, celebrating the winter solstice. It's a little past 3, so he must be at work. I think you could look for him in his office. Okay, thank you. Mr. Robinson will be overjoyed if he sees you at work. Serena curled her lips and said with self-mockery, Really? Of course! You have no idea. He's in a terrible mood these days and works overtime every day. None of us dare to make any noise in case he gets mad. That's why I used my days off and came home. It sounded like he was having a bad time. Was it because of her? If he saw her, would he feel even worse? Ahem. Miranda realized that she had probably said too much. If her boss found out that she betrayed him, he would definitely reprimand her. Well, Mrs. Robinson, please don't tell him that I said that. Consider it a secret between us. Serena smiled. Okay, bye. Bye! Serena hung up and let out a sigh of relief. In her last lifetime, Miranda had been calling her ma'am. After their divorce, she called her Miss Clark. Mrs. Robinson did not sound so bad. She drove to an exit off the highway, which happened to be close to Jake's company. She knew the road by memory and saw the uniquely shaped building in less than 2 minutes. The building of the Robinson Group was a landmark in Austin. She parked the car and went to the front desk. The receptionist immediately recognized her and called. Ma'am? Although it was the first time that Serena had come to Jake's company, almost the entire Austin knew her name and face. She smiled and said, I'm here for Mr. Robinson. The president is in the conference room on the top floor. You can take the VIP escalator here. Thank you. She went to the top floor, and the surroundings were very familiar. She had been here a lot of times in her last lifetime. As she walked inside, the secretaries were a bit surprised to see her, but they all recognized her, led her towards Jake's office, and served her freshly brewed coffee. Mr. Robinson is in a conference. Should I tell him you're here? A secretary asked. That's okay. I can wait for him here. You don't have to stay. Thank you. You're welcome. I will leave you then. Thanks. The secretary looked at her and was so excited that her face was flushed. Before the door was closed, the secretary exclaimed, She's really that pretty. Serena smiled and took a sip of the coffee. She felt oddly nervous. Would he feel surprised when he saw her? What was she going to say? Long time no see? Hello? Everything felt weird. Serena's heart raced. She regretted that she had taken Miranda's advice and come to see him. Would he think that she was trying to win him back by coming over here? But she was really just here for Grandpa, and it was only because her call did not go through. If he had the wrong idea, it would be very awkward, right? Was it too late to leave? Hesitating, Serena still stood up and walked towards the door of the office. The moment she walked near the door, it was suddenly opened. Caught off guard, Serena was hit by the doorknob. Ouch! She let out a cry and crouched down, holding where she was hurt. Jake looked confused. Looking at the girl crying in pain on the floor, he thought he might be delusional. When Serena looked up at him, his heart pounded. It was really her. Noticing Jake looking at her coldly, Serena blushed and put her hands on her lower belly, not daring to stand up. It hurt so much. She was hit right on the pubic bone. She was mortified. Seeing that she was in pain, Jake resisted the urge to examine her injury and asked, "What's wrong?" Serena bowed her head and murmured, "My stomach. It's hurting."